Alright, today we are at Good Karma Ranch, an alpaca farm here in North Carolina. It is a great place to see alpacas.
There's a little gift shop inside there. There are candles.
Yep, little gift shop right there in the farm store. And in the store you can even purchase some goods made from alpacas. And you can also sample some of the wool that can be gathered from them. So, really cool place to take the family.
Welcome everybody, welcome to Good Karma Ranch. My name is Mike, I'm the owner along with my wife Shelly over there. And we have been raising alpacas for 10 years now. So alpacas are originally from the country of Peru in South America. It's important to understand alpacas don't live in the wild. They have never been wild animals. They are 100% domesticated animal. They were actually bred into existence about 6,000 years ago by the people in Peru. And they relied on them for clothing, for meat, and for fuel. And they thrived there for thousands of years until the 16th century when the Spanish explorers conquered the South American continent. The Spanish brought with them diseases that the alpacas weren't accustomed to. They brought with them sheep that competed with the alpacas for food and space. But more importantly, because the local population was so reliant on the alpacas, the Spanish decided the best way to control them would be to kill all the alpacas. Historians estimate that about 90 to 95% of all the alpacas in Peru were killed at that point. And the animals that survived, along with their herders, fled up into the mountains where they live today. Now today there are about 5 million alpacas in the world. That might sound like a big number, but if you consider there are 30 million sheep in this country alone, maybe 100 million sheep on the planet at any given time, you can see that 5 million alpacas is still a relatively small number. In the late 1980s, early 1990s, the Peruvian government decided to allow the exportation of these animals out of the country. So at that time, alpacas were exported to the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, and China. And so alpacas are worldwide now, but 90% of them still do live in Peru. Today there are about 250,000 alpacas here in the United States, and we primarily raise them for their wool. We don't call it wool, we call it fiber.
Oh wow, this one's soft.
Yeah.
Very soft.
They're really soft.
We harvest that fiber once a year. We do it in the spring. We use a professional shearer. He comes down from the Northeast. We restrain each animal with a rope system, and he shaves them, trims their teeth, and trims their toenails. The whole process takes about 5 minutes per animal. And I assure you that the alpacas are not harmed in any way during the shearing process. They can be a little dramatic. When alpacas are agitated or angry, they will scream. It looks worse than it really is.
Alpacas also do not have any top front teeth. I think Mike may have mentioned that, but they do have bottom front teeth. And those bottom front teeth grow continually. So we actually on shearing day have to look inside of everybody's mouth. And we do use a Dremel to grind down their teeth if necessary. And they don't have nerves in their teeth like we do, so it doesn't hurt.
We get about 5 to 8 pounds of fiber off of each animal. We belong to an alpaca fiber co-op, and we give them our fiber. And the fiber gets pooled together with all the other member farms and gets cleaned and sorted, and then it gets made into finished product. So we get back hats, gloves, socks, the types of things we can sell in the farm store. So that's really the kind of business model that we're pursuing at the moment. So what is the major difference between sheep's wool and alpaca fiber? I've got 2 samples on the table here for you. Feel free to touch them both. The black is sheep's wool, the white is alpaca fiber. But alpaca fiber is softer than sheep's wool. It's warmer by weight than sheep's wool. It's stronger than sheep's wool. It's considered hypoallergenic. So you know, if you put a wool sweater on your directly on your skin, it might itch. That's an allergic reaction. you're having to the wool. And you should not have that with alpacas.
Do alpacas fight?
Biting is not a natural behavior for an alpaca. They don't even have teeth on the top of the neck.
Do they fight though?
They do fight, especially the boys, but they really can't hurt each other so much. They mostly just neck wrestle and spit at each other.
Is it more for territorial when they do that?
It's more of like a herd hierarchy thing.
Okay, so they do spit.
Yeah, they do.
All of the alpacas on this side of the farm are females. They live separate from the boys at all times. Yeah, male alpacas are very
Boys.
persistent breeders. So they will,
There's no specific time of year.
no specific time of year, and they will hound the girls constantly.
Oh my gosh.
So they stay separate at all times.
That makes for happier alpacas.
Yeah, everybody's happier.
All right.
So yeah, let's go into the barn.
We're gonna show you a llama. Oh, I gotta show my
Come straight in.
What's the dog's name again?
This is Murphy.
Murphy? Hey, Murphy. Good Pyrenees watchdog.
So this is the female barn. Like I said, all the girls live on this side of the farm. They come in here to get out of the rain. Alpacas hate the rain. They come in here in the summer a lot because of the cool concrete pad, and we run fans along the wall. So we basically turn the whole barn into a wind tunnel. So it stays pretty comfortable in here in the summer.
So alpacas don't sweat, which is why we run so many fans.
So we have a lot of time and effort invested in these pregnancies. So we like to keep moms as comfortable as possible because we wait a long time for those babies. Obviously, we've all sort of met Murphy. I'll just informally introduce him at this point. Murphy is a Great Pyrenees. He is a livestock guardian dog. He's guarding against coyotes, but more importantly, here in the United States, the biggest threat to our alpacas are just other dogs. There's been plenty of horror stories in and around the industry where 2 dogs got into the pasture and 10 alpacas wound up dying. The reason we're over here is because this is where we feed the alpacas the other 5% of their diet. We feed them a little bit of grain in the morning. It's not really a meal for them. It's really more for us. It's a behavior check. The alpacas are super stoic animals. They will not show you any outward signs of illness or disease. They will stay with the herd and act as normal as possible until the last possible minute. And usually at that point they'll lay down and they won't ever get back up. So feeding them a little grain, they come running. And if somebody doesn't come running or somebody decides I'm not eating this morning, we can tell that something's probably not right and we can intervene at that point.
I hear them humming.
Yeah, humming is their sound.
Because they're being fed, or they?
Just their noise is like meowing or barking. Humming is their sound. The babies do it a lot more than the adults. He's the dad to the majority of the babies that you saw over there. And then that beautiful boy laying down back there, that's Moon. That's actually Max's dad. And Moon is also one of our champions, and he is a herd sire. He's a stud as well. So the males always live in 2 herds, and it's a temperament thing, it's a fighting thing. It cuts down on the fighting if there's 2 groups of boys versus 1 big group. Those 3 tussle quite a bit. Polaris can't live over there anymore because they beat him up too much. So, I know. They're grumpy. Well, that's pretty much it for the tour. There is a mural on this side of the farm store. If you didn't see it originally, it makes a cute spot for pictures. The farm store is open. No pressure there, but it's cool to see kind of what we make. And if you post anything on social media, let people know where you were. It really helps us a lot more than you probably realize it does. And come back. We do lots of other events. We do yoga, lots of crafting things, and we're going to do a craft beer charcuterie thing in May too. So come back and see us.